Your biggest winners out in the Championship this week are Watford as they gain on the top two spots. But now it's anybody's guess as who will go up to the Premier League at the end of the season. We'll take a look at all the latest round of picks and, of course, yours next. Folks, back once again with another prediction show. Today we're taking a look at Matchday number 31 out in the Championship, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, where the heck have you been, boys? Smash your subscribe button to get you bang up today with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, World Football related. We get all here under one roski. That's right, goodness gracious me. What a midweek. What a midweek of drama, especially if you're a Rovers fan, which probably has put the end to any hope out of us out in the Championship, making that top 6. We're down to 12th now, and I've not really addressed the situation, and we'll probably have to address it in a separate video anyway. But we'll talk all about the situations out in the Premiership, out in the Championship, of course, in just a minute. I want a big shout out because we've got a bit of breaking news, boys and girls. We've got a bit of breaking news. That's right. That's right, boys and girls. We have not one, but 2 brand new Patreons. That's right. Goodness gracious me. Absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. We're back up to 25 out in the old Patreons, which is where we want to be, and of course from here on in we want to kick on further and of course get up to 50, which is at the end of year goal, not the end of season, the end of year goal. So we've still got a lot of time to get there, but of course if we could get a little bit of a jump start, that'd be fantastic. But of course the new patrons are, of course, well, it's actually a returning one. Tom Beresford is back. Big shout out, of course, to Tom Beresford. Of course, the new guy. You know me, Alan MC. I said, you know me. I said, Alan MC. That's right. Fantastic stuff. Coming in here, joining the band of brothers here to kick on further, up another level. So I do appreciate the guy. You get access to all this content, plus the prediction lead data, and some also other bits and pieces. Again, I'm going to be revamping. I know I've been saying this for months, but I'll be revamping this once things ease up a little bit for me, because I've got a lot going on behind the scenes. My computer's a bag of shit. My study's a nightmare. The prediction league is a nightmare, and of course Rovers are doing a nightmare. But besides all of that, everything else is cushy. But anyway, let's kick it on further then. Take a look at how we all got on, and we'll just skip past the Rovers game and of course move on to the next one. Here we bloody go. Kick it on back and take a look at those games that did take place in this midweek. Starting with, of course, Preston up against Watford. Ended up as a 1-0 win for Watford. Just the one goal, just enough to get them over the line. João Pedro from the penalty spot, giving them the 3 points, and of course move them into contention for, of course, top 2. I actually remember the 2-2 draw after the win against Rovers. I thought they would have it in the tank, but looks like Preston don't know what to do with themselves. Meanwhile, Stoke City up against Sheffield Wednesday with a 1-0 win for Stoke. Stephen Fletcher scores on the score sheet against his old boys on the 83rd minute, lastminute.com winner. Everyone likes that except for me when it's on the other end. So big win for them. Meanwhile, Bristol City, of course, managerless at the moment, losing to Reading. 2-0 loss. Reading, of course, keeping up with the Joneses. Lucas Jow with a goal. Michael Morrison as well. Maybe just Bristol City are just shit at the moment. That's what it is. I don't believe in the Reading. I don't think they'll be there in the top 6. They might be there now, though. Of course, they're strengthening their case, as are Bournemouth, of course. But Bristol City are on a worse bit of form than Rovers at the moment. So, 2-0 for them. Kudos. Meanwhile, Middlesbrough, they also got themselves back in the hunt with a 2-1 win over Huddersfield with a lastminute.com winner as well. They actually, Duncan Watmore with a banger. Ashley Fletcher as well. Patrick McNair got himself sent off in the final stretches before. But the opening goals came from Isaac Membenza for Huddersfield, but unfortunately it was too early for them. Middlesbrough got back to winning ways. Meanwhile, Wycombe against Derby again. Was there a lastminute.com winner on this one as well? It was. Ukabanzu with a big fat OG, and he actually scored from the post spot to level it for Wycombe. Andre Wisdom with a late winner on the 94th minute to give Reading, of course, a share of the spoils. Meanwhile, Luton Town against Cardiff. 2-0 win for Cardiff. Of course, McCarthy's boys are right in that hunt now, of course. Will Volks and Harry Wilson on the score sheet looking good. Luton Town got humbled there. Of course, 2-1 for me. Shame on me. I think I did shit this week in picks. Meanwhile, it's the Wednesday's games. Coventry against Norwich was 2-0 win for Norwich. Got himself back to winning ways. Team of Puki Amaluena Boenda on the score. She actually won the 2-1 win. Couldn't see anything but an away win there. So fair play to them. Millwall did beat Birmingham. Karanka, is he still there? He's still bloody hanging on. Jed Wallace on the score sheet. Ben Thompson as well as Millwall continue to revamp their season. QPR also continued to buck the trend with a 2-1 win over Brentford. Sam Fields, Charlie Austin on the score sheet. Ivan Toney open up the scoring for Brentford. But again, they might have a bit of a bottle job going on here, Brentford, as they can't keep up the heat. Of course, they are fantastic, and you don't want to be playing them at any given day. away, but they had a nightmare against QPR, local rivalry, of course. Swansea did beat Nottingham Forest with a 1-0 goal. Conor Roberts on the score sheet for Swansea, giving them the win. 2-0 for me. Not too sure, of course. Barnsley against Rovers, absolute shit show here. Carlton Morris, Alex Mauer, he knows where the back of the net is. Late goal for Adam Armstrong, giving us a little bit of hope. Unfortunately, 2-0. That was close. I was bloody close. Then, of course, Bournemouth did beat Rotherham 1-0 in the end. Goal scorers on the day. Thierry Henry could be the new manager here. That's what they're looking at. Philip Billing on the score sheet, 23rd minute, to give them the win. I got myself 2 for 6, which is okay. This is what the table looks as it stands. It's not pretty reading, folks. It's not pretty reading. Of course, Norwich lead the charge. They have 4 points clear over Brentford, who are 1 point clear over Swansea, who have 2 games in hand. Win both of those, they could go top of the league, top of the league. Top of the league. Of course, Watford are also up there as well. Win for them, they could also go as high as second. They haven't got the superior goal difference just yet. As of right now, it is a 4-horse race for those top 2 spots. Reading could get themselves right back in the hunt with a couple of little bit of lady luck going their way. As for Rovers, we do have 1 game in hand, and if we were to win that, we could be up as high as 9th. But still 7. We're what is it? We're 10 points adrift off that 6th spot, but with a game in hand. But that game in hand is Swansea, which of course we're probably going to lose that anyway. So kicking off further, let's take a look at how you all got on out in the prediction league. This is the criteria, boys and girls. If you get an order 4 shitface game 5-9, Sheffield then 10+. You're in the straight. You're in the top bins, boys. Here we go. Jamie Gold, you did good. Jacob Jackson, as did fantastic. Absolutely, Bobby Dazzler, good. Cody Goodho also did good. Tom Stain did fantastic as well. Absolutely banging it. Alex Weller did good. Russell Frost did brilliant, but not that good. Vince Long also did good. Olaji Ojo did good as well. Of course, James BCFC are great. You did okay. Okay, didn't do okay. You did brilliant. Look at that. Of course, Sheldon Ninja also did good. Ultra Umria, fantastic as well. Well done. No red faces so far for area 77. Nucci Scene did okay. Leeds 2021, absolutely brilliant. Of course, Shepard also did fantastic. Absolutely killed it as well. Roberto Hollis did good. Game China, not too sure. Nathan Eva did good as well. Down under Damien Evan, he did all right. Yannick Buster did bits, and Shane O'Donnell, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant picks, of course. Oh, Esquivel also did very, very well as well. Mexican sniper. What's that done to the table? Well, let's look at it. Roberto Hollis, just don't look at it right now. Just don't even look at it. I'm not far away either. I'm down there with Shadow Ninja and Vincent Hung as well. But of course, look at that. 2, 4, 6-way lead, 6-way crown, whatever you want to call it. Share the crown. Everybody takes it 1 day a week, and then we'll be back again next week, of course. With 10 out of 12, that's an impressive stat right there. But what's that done to the overall leaderboard? But anyway, let's give them the royalty that they deserve. Shepard, you're king. Leeds 2021, you're king. Shane O'Donnell, you're also king. Tom Steiner is king as well. Jacob Jackson is also king. And okay is okay, and he is a king as well for this week and this week alone. But the overall kingpin still is Gaming Charlie and Shane O'Donnell, of course. Shane O'Donnell strengthen his case or get himself right back in the thick of things. Gaming Charlie, where are you, son? Where are you? You have, of course, 1 point drop there, really. Russell Frost, where are you? Frosty, he's also dropped a point off as well. But it's Gaming Charlie with, of course, making headway here. Of course, leading the charge. So give him a round of applause. He is wearing the crown outright, as well as Shane O'Donnell. So, of course, it's a 2-way tie at the moment, going for the kingpin. But, of course, it could all change this week with, of course, another round of matches. And, of course, another Blackburn Rovers defeat. I'll tell you that now. Just put a Rovers defeat and that'll give you the 1 point against Nottingham Forest. But anyway, Watford will take a derby this Friday night to play each other. The last 6 is 2 wins for Watford, 3 for Derby and 1 draw last round. At Vicarage Road was a 2-1 win for Derby back in 2014. Jordan Ibe on the score sheet, Craig Bryson as well. Gianni Munanari on the score sheet for Watford back in 6-7 years ago. Goodness gracious me. They did play each other this season at Pride Park. Was a 1-win for Watford. Jad Pedro on the score sheet when he was kicking ass and taking names. Heading into this, Watford actually kept clean sheet in 6 of the last 8 matches in the Championship. Whereas Derby have actually won 5 of the last 6 matches as well in the Championship coming into this. So 2 teams in pretty good form. Just 1 win, 1 defeat the past 6 games for Watford. That was against QPR. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Derby just 1 defeat the past 6 as well, losing to Rotherham as well, 3-0 not too long ago. But of course, the table the bookie says as at 2017 on for Watford. They are your favourites. 23-10 is your draw. 15-4 is your Derby. Derby coming at you out in 17th at the moment. But a win for them, they could go 15th. They're climbing. They are shooting up that table. As for Watford, they are 4th. A win for them, they could go 2nd in the table, depending on what goes on elsewhere. For me, they're going to go with on this one, Watford to take it, at least a point anyway, 1-1 in the end. Coventry up against Brentford. Let's get into this one. Let's shall we? Of course, down at St Andrews. Of course, played the last 5 for Brentford. 4 for Brentford, nothing for Coventry, and 1 draw last round. When Coventry were the hosts of the 2-0 win for Brentford back in 2013 in League One. Clayton Donaldson on the score sheet, Martin Taylor as well. Of course, they played this season at Brentford. It was a 2-0 win for Brentford with Ivan Toney with a brace back in, of course, October. Meanwhile, heading into this, Coventry have actually failed to score in 5 of the last 7 matches at home. Whereas Brentford have actually won the last 3 matches against Coventry in all competitions competitions. Heading into this, though, back-to-back defeats for Brentford for the first time in a long, long time. Losing to Barnsley, of course, losing to QPR as well. Of course, Coventry without a win in at least 5 games, picking up 2 draws and 3 defeats to boot. Not good for them. Look at the bookies' odds on this one then, shall we? 10-3 for Coventry, 6-5 on is your Brentford, 13-5 is your draw. Of course, Brentford coming at you, and a second win for them, they could close in on first. As for Coventry, they're down 20th. A win for them, they could go as high as 17th in the table. I've gone with on this one with a 2-1 for Brentford, get back to winning ways and get their season moving towards the Premier League again. What's, of course, Bristol City up against Barnsley. Of course, Barnsley looking very, very good at the moment. Of course, Bristol City managerless as of recording. It could change now. It could, like today, it could change in a minute. It could change any second. I don't know. But, of course, they're looking at Thierry Henry and they're looking at others at the moment. Anyway, the last 6 seasons, 3 was Bristol City, nothing for Barnsley, 3 draws last time around at Thrashton Gate was back in January 2020. It was a 1-0 win for Bristol City. Nicolas Eliasson now over in La France. Meanwhile, I did play sure that in October was a 2-2 draw as well. Mika Hellick, Colin Woodrow on the score sheet, Jack Hunt, Tariq Parkinson on the score sheet. Meanwhile, Bristol City have actually lost their last 5 matches in the Championship, and they're also undefeated in the last 15 home matches against Barnsley in all competitions. Heading into this, though, 6 games without a 6-game loss, losing streak for Bristol in all competitions, including the FA Cup as well. Meanwhile, of course, just 1 defeat in the past 6 games for Barnsley. That was in the FA Cup. They've on a nice, good old patch at the moment for Barnsley, and they could be pushing up towards the top 6. Meanwhile, the bookies' odds on this one, then, shall we? Of course, Bristol City 13-5 for the win, 23-10 is your draw, 11-10 is your Barnsley. They are your favourites. They're in 10th at the moment. A win for them, they could go 7th. As for Bristol City, they're down at 14th, and win for them, they could actually go as high as 9th in the table. Leapfrogging Barnsley in the process. I'm going to go with on this one with the 1-1 draw. I know, yeah, Barnsley were good, and my gripe is nothing against Barnsley. They were a good team yesterday against Rovers. My gripe is against Rovers. The way we're going, the tactics, the substitutions, everything, the form is just terrible. All the hype at the start of the season, the tremendous start, the fantastic goal scoring spree, that was fantastic. No disrespect, Barnsley. They owned it. They deserved it. They're on a good bit of form. But nothing against them. I've got problems with where Rovers are right now, mentally, on the pitch, decisions, tacticals. They ought to need to be readdressed. I'm not saying, I did say Mowbray out, and for the most part, I would like to see change, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I've got to back the boys. Back the Rovers. No matter what goes on, I've got to keep on believing that we can end the season strongly. I pretty much admit playoffs are out of the way. But we just need to play well, get the guys signed up on contracts and go again next season, and maybe with a change of philosophy one way or another. And that's enough about that. So kicking off further, Cardiff up against Preston, of course, informed Cardiff, taking on Preston, who don't know what they're doing. They're either up or down. Of course, played the last 6, 3 wins for Cardiff, 2 wins for Preston, 1 draw last round. In Wales, of course, was back in December 2019. It was a 0-0 draw, of course, but pretty sure this season out in Deepdale was a 1-0 win for Cardiff, of course, back in October. I think Harris was in charge there. Sheji Ojojo on the score sheet with the course for Cardiff, giving them the 3 points. Cardiff actually won the last 4 matches in the Championship, also scoring at least 2 goals in the last 4 as well. Cardiff undefeated in 9 last 10 matches at home against Preston in all competitions. Heading into this, winning 5 out of 4 in the spin for Cardiff, looking very, very good at the moment. Just 1 win in the past 5 games for Preston. That was, of course, against Blackburn Rovers. Less talked about that, the better. And of course, heading into this 2019 on is your Cardiff. They are your Stone Cold Ferrets, 23-10 is your draw, 16-5 is your Preston. Of course, long shots for them. They are in 13th at the moment. A win for them, they could go as high as 9th. Cardiff are 7th, and a win for them, they could close in on 6th. That is, of course, Bournemouth, and that is, of course, playoffs, and that's where they want to be. I've gone with on this one, 2-0 win for Cardiff. Again, keep on keeping on, and of course, they're back into the thick of things, of course, with playoffs on their sights. Millwall taking, of course, Wycombe, of course, Millwall also on the climb. In recent succession, of course, played the last 6, 3 wins apiece, and no draws last time around at the Den was, of course, in the Papa John's Trophy back in 2016. It was a 3-1 win for Wycombe. Adebayo, I confirm on the score sheet, Gary Thompson with the brace, David Worrell as well. They also played each other in the league last time around at Millwall, was all the way back in 2010. Sorry, scrap that. When was it? It was all the way back in 2009. Sorry, 2-0 win for Wycombe. Of course, back in November 2009. Chris Westwood, Kevin Betsy on the score sheet. They also played each other this season, though, at Wycombe, at wherever they play it. Of course, it was 2-1 win for Millwall back in October. Scores on the day then. Jed Wallace, Ryan Lennon on the score sheet. Scott Kashik on the score sheet as well. Wycombe have actually failed to win 17 last 19 matches in the Championship, whereas Millwall have actually won the last 3, and they're looking very, very good. Unbeaten the last 6, picking up 3 wins and 3 draws to boot. Just 1 win the past 6 games for Wycombe. That was against Huddersfield as well. Look at the bookies. Odds. Millwall will be your Stone Cold favourites on this one. Of course, coming at you 13-8 on for the victory. 11-4 is your draw. 5-1 is your Wycombe. Wycombe coming at you, route to the foot of the table, but a win for them. They could close it in on 23rd place. Birmingham, of course. As for Millwall, they are 11th, and a win for them. They could actually go as high as 7th in the table. It's tight, airtight in that middle pack there, but the gap between 6 and 7 is huge at the moment. I've gone with the 2-1 win for Millwall to keep on keeping on, and of course get really back into the thick of things with, of course, with the race for the playoffs. Next scores, we have Reading up against who are they playing? Middlesbrough, of course. Last 6 seasons, nothing for Reading, 5 for Middlesbrough, 1 draw last time around. The Majewski was a 2-1 win for Middlesbrough back in July 2020. In lockdown, Ashley Fletcher, Patrick Robertson on the score sheet, Liam Moore with a goal for Reading, of course, last season. They did play each other this season at the Riverside. It was a 0-0 draw back in October. heading into this, Middlesbrough have actually won their last 3 away matches against Reading in all competitions. Heading into this, just 1 win in the past 6 games for Middlesbrough. That was against Huddersfield just the other day. Meanwhile, Reading just 2 wins in the past 6 games, of course, coming into on the back of the win against Bristol City. Prior to that, and without a win, and 3. Look at the bookies odds on this one then, shall we? Of course, Reading coming at you, of course, 29-20 for the victory, 21-10 is your draw, 21-10 is also your away win. That is Borough. Borough are in 8th at the moment, and win for them, they could go 7th. Reading are in 5th, and win for them, they could go 4th in the table. Of course, they're sitting in the playoffs right here, right now, but will they be there at the end of the season? We'll see about that. 1 more draw on this one, a point split, and I think Reading could be content with that against a hot and cold Middlesbrough. Next, of course, we have Huddersfield Town up against Swansea. Of course, let's take a look at this one then, shall we? Of course, the place of the last 6, 1 win for Huddersfield, 3 for Swansea, 2 draws last time around in the Macau Pine, John Smith's Kirkley Stadium, whatever one you call it. It was a 1-1 draw back in November 2019. Colin Grant and Squashy Jay Fulton as well for Swansea. Trevor Chabalar getting themselves sent off. Meanwhile, they played each other in the Liberty back in, of course, Wales in October. Of course, 2-1 win for Huddersfield. Harry Tofolio and Squashy Josh Karoma as well. Andre Ayew getting them 1 goal for Swansea as they lost. Of course, they don't do many of those. Meanwhile, Swansea have actually won 5 of the last 6 matches in the Championship. Huddersfield failing to win their last 8. Heading into this, though, 3 wins in the past 4 games for Swansea. The only hiccup was the defeat in the FA Cup against Manchester City. Of course, Huddersfield without a win in at least 6 games. It could be more than that. Look at the biggest odds on this one then, shall we? Huddersfield 11-4 for the victory, 9-4 draw, 11-10 is your Swansea. Swansea coming at you out in 3rd win for them. They could go 2nd. Huddersfield down into 19th for the moment. They could go down if, of course, Sheffield Wednesday and Birmingham get into top gear. But a win for them in 19th. They could go as high as 16th of the table, of course. I've gone with a 2-0 win on the road for Swansea on this one to keep themselves moving in the right direction. Next, of course, we have Norwich City up against, of course, who they've got? Rotherham, of course. Of course, leaders up against strugglers, you would say. Played each other the last 6, 5 wins for Norwich, 1 win for Rotherham, no draws last time around at Curra Road. It was back in December 2018. 3-1 win for Norwich. Cantwell, Aarons, Pookie on the score sheet, Richard Towell on the score sheet for Rotherham back in the day. They also played each other this season at the New York Stadium as a 2-1 win for Norwich. Mika Inawiki with a big fat OG, Jordan Hygo from the penalty spot as well. Freddie Ladapapo getting a goal for Rotherham, particularly giving them the lead before Angus McDonald got himself sent off, which basically changed the game. Look at this one. Norwich undefeated in the last 13 home matches in the Championship, and they've also won 5 of the last 6 matches against Rotherham in all competitions. Heading into this, though, back-to-back defeats for Rotherham, losing to Cardiff, losing to Bournemouth as well. Meanwhile, of course, just 1 defeat the past 5 games for Norwich. That was against Swansea, and I watched that game actually on the couch, falling asleep watching that badger. Anyway, heading into this, of course, what do we have on this one? 15-8 on is your Norwich, 3-1 is your 11-2 is your Rotherham. Rotherham coming at you out in 21st spot at the moment, but a win for them. They could actually go as high as 20th in the table. Of course, Norwich are top, and they'll be top
no matter what.
That's right. Norwich will win this one as well with a 3-0 win to keep the heat at the top of the table. Next, of course, we have Nottingham Forest up against my boys, Blackburn Rovers. We'll have a watch along for this one. I'm not promising you anything. Of course, my computer's shit, but we're going to give it a go anyway, and hopefully I can at least buck the trend. But anyway, these two sides played each other the last 6, 2 wins apiece and 2 draws. We owe these guys a win. Of course, they won last round at Ewood Park this season with a late goal by Joe Lolly in a game which I think we dominated. We were playing off our skins, but unfortunately they got, and that was when we were playing good. We were playing good back then, and we had up-team chances, but they snatched it right at the death with a set piece, I think, or mostly a set piece anyway. But we did play each other last season at the City Grounds, a 3-2 win for Forest, so back-to-back wins. In fact, Forest unbeaten in the last 3 games against Rovers in all competitions. We'll have a preview of this one at some point, probably Friday. Rovers actually lost their last 3 matches in the Championship. Have also lost with the margin of 1 in the last 3. So, 3 defeats on the spin for Rovers, not good at all. As for Forest, just 1 defeat the past 5 games. That 1 defeat was against Swansea, who are, of course, very, very good. Heading into this, though, Forest 70-10 for the victory, 8-5 is your Rovers, 25 is your draw. Of course, Forest are actually in 18th for the moment, but a win for them, they can go 16th. Rovers in 12th. A win for them, they could go in 9th, believe it or not. I've actually gone against the grain here. I've gone with a defeat for Rovers. I'm just not feeling it. Maybe I'm still too rough around the gills. I haven't seen anything in the last since November to give me any positivity regarding Rovers. I've come in there. I just thought it was just a rough purple patch from November, though. From November, we won't have 1 game since November. But the games have been shit. The performances have been subpar. We had scrapey, fluky games against Middlesbrough. Not really effective against Birmingham, even though we won 2-0. Luton was a scammy. Rotherham, Millwall. All these games that we won since that spell, they've been jammy games. Not clear cut, not comfortable. And yeah, we've lost the games. This month's supposed to be the month that we make a push, but unfortunately it's been the month that we sunk like a stone, and I think it's going to continue with, of course, Nottingham Forest with a win. And again, there'll be more pressure on Mowbray. He won't go nowhere, and again we've got Watford right around the corner. So yeah, fantastic, another defeat for Rovers. As you can see, I'm very, very positive about Rovers at the moment. No, I'm not. Kicking off further, QPR taking on board, of course, Bournemouth. Of course, QPR doing okay at the moment. The last 6 between 2 sides, 2 wins for QPR, 3 for Bournemouth, and 1 draw last time around at Loftus Road. Was all the way back in 2013 in the Championship. That's competitive action, of course. 3-0 win for QPR. Charlie Austin, of course, back then he went on and done some other stuff since then. Junior Hoylett, Matt Phillips on the score sheet, of course, back in the Championship. Of course, the pleasure of this season. down at Bournemouth. It was a 0-0 draw back in October. QPR actually won 5 of the last 6 matches in the Championship, looking very, very good as well. The only hiccup was the defeat to Derby. As for Bournemouth, they're actually unbeaten the last 4 games, picking up 3 wins. And a draw to boot. Look at the bookies. Odds on this one: 29-10 for QPR, 25 is your, 30-10 is your Bournemouth. Bournemouth coming at you, and 6 a win for them. They could go as high as 5th. As for QPR, they're down into 16th at the moment. A win for them, they could go as high as 12th in the table. And again, guess what? They could come in. It could be the team that comes out of nowhere and sneaks into the playoffs. You just don't know at the moment. 2-0 win though for Bournemouth to get themselves keep on winning on. Of course, Sheffield Wednesday up against Birmingham. Of course, relegation 6-pointer here. Place of the last 6-1 win for Sheffield Wednesday, 2 for Birmingham, 3 draws. Of course, last round at Hillsborough was a 1-1 draw. Kadim Harris on the score sheet. Alvarado Gimenez as well for Birmingham. They did play at St Andrews back in October as a 1-0 win for Sheffield Wednesday. Barry Bannon from the penalty spot. Of course, Wednesday winning their last 5 home matches in the Championship. Also keeping clean sheet in the last 3 at home. Just actually 1 win in the past 3 games for them in all competitions. That was against Wycombe. Meanwhile, Birmingham without a win in I don't even know how long. Look, 3 defeats on the spin. Looking very, very lost at the moment. Of course, the bookies odds 29-20 for Sheffield Wednesday. 2-1 is your draw. 94 is your Birmingham. Of course, Birmingham coming at you in the relegation zone. In fact, both of these 2 sides in the relegation. Both of these 2 sides with 28 points on the board, and a win for either of them. They could go as high as 20th in the table. I think Wednesday will nick this one with a 2-1 win. Unfortunately, Birmingham look a little bit lost at sea, and I think they need to be the next team that gets rid of their manager, of course. And finally, it'll be Stoke City up against Luton Town, who are not going to go down, I don't think, anyway. The last 6 between 2 sides. This is the Nathan Jones derby, of course. 3 wins for Stoke, nothing for Luton, 3 draws. Last round at the Bet 365 was back in December 2019. 3-0 win for Stoke. James McLean, Joe Allen with a brace. Of course, they did play at Kenilworth Road. It was a 2-0 win for Stoke as well. Fletcher and Powell on the score sheet. Of course, unbeaten in forever against these bad boys, of course. Looking at the odds, looking at the recent form, just 1 win in the past 6 games for Stoke. That was against, of course, Sheffield Wednesday just the other day. Meanwhile, same could be said for Luton, just 1 win in the past 6 games. That 1 win was against Luton, Birmingham, of course. No bookies odds because it's Bet 365. But heading into this, Stoke in 9th, a win for them, they could actually go as high as 7th. Luton down in 15th at the moment, but a win for them, they could go 12th in the table. Stoke will get this one with a 2-1 win, and again, keep them season right back on. Of course, they've not been playing well, but they're still in the hunt. Of course, you just don't know. But anyway, this is what the table will look like if I'm right. Of course, Rovers will be down into 13th. Absolutely shit show, of course. Norwich will be top. Of course, 4 points clear over Brentford, who are 1 point clear over Swansea, who are 4 points clear over Watford, who have a bit of a nightmare this week. Bournemouth and Reading make up your top 6. On the foot table, Wycombe, Birmingham and Rotherham going down as it stands. Huddersfield also in the discussion as well, just 4 points adrift. Of course, Rotherham 2 games in hand. It could also get nice and interesting right there. But anyway, until then, be sure to give the video some love and of course get your picks in nice and early. Until then, though, be sure to check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and of course, if you want to become the latest brother or another mother, you could become the latest member of the Patreon gang. Please check out the links down below, and of course, I'll see you all next time. Until then, though, I'm out. Mask up. Match preview for Forest coming up soon. Of course, we'll have a watch along on Saturday. Win, lose, or draw. Until then, though, I am out.